shutdowns moving some prominent voices towards the president. Joining me now to discuss that and more, Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA and author of The MAGA Doctrine. Charlie, thanks for being here. Okay, so what are you seeing with people like Joe Rogan and is likely a move to vote for President Trump? What is that about?
Well, look, this shutdown has impacted everybody. And at Turning Point USA, we represent an organization on 2,000 high school and college campuses across the country. With total closures all across the country, we see young people that are now realizing that the socialism we were trying to warn them about has actually come here for a couple months. They weren't able to leave their house. You can't go to a skate park rink in California. You can't go on the beach. Governor Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan says you can't have two people in a boat. And a lot of students are now questioning a lot of these far left-wing ideas. And you start to see crumbs of this with Joe Rogan, meaning Elon Musk, that has said that he might leave California for Texas. You're seeing people go out of their way to challenge this authoritarian narrative. And I'll tell you, Judge, this is a huge opening for the president. When Joe Biden and the Democrats want to continue to stay at home endlessly, President Trump can be on the side of liberty, freedom, and the American experience. It's a huge opportunity for our generation and our organization to seize this as a freedom revolution.
Well, you make an excellent point, Charlie, but I sometimes wonder, and you're on the college campuses, you've been on those campuses for years, and intensely going back and forth with these students, and it is so ingrained in them that capitalism is bad and that, socialism is the way to go. Do you think they're getting it? I know you think they are, but I wonder, I really do. And Elon Musk, okay, he says he wants to move to Nevada or Texas. I mean, there's a guy that people never considered certainly a capitalist, but maybe not someone who was taking the right side of things.
That's correct, Judge. Your cynicism is understandable. Look, young people have been portrayed as very far to the left, but I think we have a total reset right now. This virus has changed everything. I think that's pretty agreed upon. I think it's going to change our generation's political trajectory. And so for years, William F. Buckley used to say that we had to stand atop history and say stop. Now we can stand on the present and say no more and never again. We can say we're not going to go back to these shutdowns. Our generation is not going to give our power and our freedom to some elected politician that doesn't know what's best for us. This is a teachable moment. This is a real moment for a generation that, quite honestly, might never have experienced Marxism or socialism before. Now we can reference the current and we can say we are never going to accept this again.
And when do you expect to get back on campuses? I know it depends on when they open, but when you communicate with high schoolers, let's talk about proms and graduations and internships. All of that is gone. So how are you connecting with these young kids?
Judge, it's such a great question. Look, every part of the population has been impacted by these shutdowns and by the virus. But young people especially, they had their spring sports canceled, they had their proms canceled, their commencements canceled. Job opportunities for recent graduates are tough right now. I mean, a lot of people that I know I'm talking to had job offers totally and completely rescinded, and some are internships have been put in jeopardy. And young people are actually now statistically the least at risk at the virus. Here's what we're doing at Turning Point USA. We've gone digital, we've gone online, and the president now has a massive opportunity versus Joe Biden to say, I'm the president of economic renewal, liberty, and getting your life back on track. Huge opportunity. I'm going to be advocating for seizing it.
Well, when do you think the president is going to end up going back to the rallies and getting out there and getting people fired up again and talking about how crazy this has been?
Yeah, it's a great point, Judge. Joe Biden, we didn't really take his rallies away. The social distance guidelines, no more than 10 to a room, that's perfectly acceptable for a Joe Biden gathering because he couldn't fill up a room of more than 10 people. For President Trump, he had a moment here where he wasn't able to use his greatest political asset, which is 50,000 people in a room supporting his agenda. If I were to kind of see things through, I think by midsummer or early fall, we are going to be able to see the juxtaposition of President Trump rallying tens of thousands of Americans versus Joe Biden doing whatever he does. I think the trajectory now is very positive. And for those of us that love freedom and liberty outside of politics, just ask the Democrats in your life, did you enjoy this? Because if you didn't, then don't vote for more of it. Vote for the person that wants to reopen America and bring us back to prosperity.
Well, Charlie Kirk, and and the other piece to it is, a shutdown is good for Joe Biden, and the opposite is better for the president. But I'm sure there's no politics involved in this, right, Charlie?
Yeah,
Charlie
right. I
Kirk,
mean,
thanks so much. Yeah,
Well said.
thanks. We got to go, Charlie. Great having you on. And real